Hi guys, welcome back. I've got a nice interesting little video for you today. We've got this R1 here. She's a bit sick. After being stored up for a little while, a couple of months, she's doing the old battery misbehaving issues. So we're going to diagnose her today. I've come across this issue before and it's a bit of a strange one, so I thought I'd do a little video on it because before, when I searched for it and advice on where to go and what to look at next, there weren't much of it. It was just, oh, your battery must be duff. Well, no, it's not the battery. Basically what's happening is owner went to the bike. He, after a couple of months sitting around, experienced the old classic flat battery scenario. Apologise for the light of it being a bit crap, by the way. I'm in my new place, it's temporary lighting, as you can see, and I'm getting it sorted, bit by bit. But anyway, the battery was flat, so he's gone to charge it and not taking it out of the bike, and the battery wouldn't take a charge. The charger was just saying no play. So he's taken it out of the bike and it's showing the battery is okay, but he's got another battery anyway, because I told him it's probably a duff battery. So he's done that, and basically on first crank, come back around here again, on first crank he'll start the ignition, all the lights come on, it'll do a slow crank like it once it's not really trying to and then it'll quickly go into stopping and just starts on like clicking. It goes to try again, ignition off, back on, and it's just dead, nothing at all, not even a light on the dash, not even a flicker, nothing. So what the problem is, I kind of know what the problem is, but I want to go through it in this video, how you find this problem and what you're experiencing now. So what we're going to do is just pop this seat off. Right, in here you see a disconnected battery. Now I'm going to connect this up in a minute, but what I'll show you first is, on a motorbike, battery shouldn't spark when you first attach them. Now on a car, sometimes if you do the terminals the wrong way around, and if you do them the right way around, sometimes, like as in like, what is it, positive, neutral off first, and then on first, something like that, when you're replacing the battery, how you put them on. Whereas on a bike it doesn't really matter, and there should be no sparking at all. And as you can see here, this isn't right, not for a bike, right? Shouldn't be doing it. So we have a problem. Now problem is, we don't know, got to get to it, haven't we? So I'm going to set you down and we're going to start to strip out this bike, and I'm going to show you where to go from here. Right, that's attached. Watch what we've got going on here. Set to volts. Alright, 11.15. Okay. Now, if we start the bike, turn the bike ignition on, ignition comes on. Go to try and start. Okay, that will fire. Yeah, that's going to fire. Right, okay, so it's behaving itself at the moment. It won't normally do that. Right, so it's turned itself back on again. I've turned it on, but normally what would happen, right, let's see if we're getting a voltage drop. we're getting a very, very small voltage drop. See that? So what that means is something somewhere is sucking power. Now I was testing this last night, and what was happening is it was literally ripping the voltage out of there. I mean, this would have been down to about 8 volts by now from last night. So right, so I've left the bike on for battery connected for literally a couple of minutes now. I've decided to cut out a load of whole crappy footage. And look, yeah. So we're drawing, yeah, there we go. Look, it's dropping now, it's going, it's disappearing fast. Now what will happen is if I leave that like that with the battery connected, this will go all the way down to 1 volt. Right. So what we need to do is disconnect this battery. See the sparkage going away? That shouldn't be happening. Not on a motorbike battery. Right, so now we're safe. Now I'm going to leave this a couple of minutes and start stripping the tank off and all the bits we need to do to get to the airbox, because the rectifier's in the airbox. The rectifier is what we need to get to next. Now we need to test for the stator condition, test the wires up to the rectifier, and that's basically all we can do to test the rectifier. Now by the time I've done that, you watch when I test the volts on the battery next time. You just watch. So let's go on with removing this tank. Alright guys, there's a rectifier buried in the airbox. Now they do that for airflow, obviously, keep it cool. This thing gets quite hot. It's turning an AC voltage into a DC. So, you know, she's doing quite a bit of work. Now these are common for going, but not in this way. So if you search the internet, you'll probably not find these symptoms that I'm talking about. So, what we need to do, firstly, we need to check this battery again. Right. Now, watch what happens when I put my voltmeter back on this battery. Now it's disconnected. Right. Bearing in mind, what was it at last time? It was about 8 volts, something like that. Now, 11.7, 11.8. Now, how does the battery magically have more charge back in it? Quite easy. What's happening is it's drawing the current, so it's not actually sucking the actual voltage out of the battery. It kind of is. If you left it there, the battery would end up dead as a dodo. So, these two wires, they end up here. Right? That's basically where they come from. That is, you know, a straight line to there. So what we need to do, firstly, disconnect this plug. Alright, now what happens if we touch this again? Nothing. See, nothing. Right. Now, if I put a bolt back in here, just to hold it on there for now. Right. Click the ignition on. Oh look, everything works. Now this will start. Right. Which we're not going to start it because it's very loud. So, what's our problem? Our problem's looking like a short in this rectifier. Now it's not very common for them to get a short in the rectifier. Normally they just stop working, so you'll just get the classic my battery is dying kind of symptoms. Your lights are fading out, your engine's running badly, all that sort of jazz. There's one more thing we want to do, and that's check the condition of the stator, which is this plug here. Now what we can also do is plug this one in. Alright. Oh, hang on. What we should do first. Disconnect that. Right. What we can do is plug this one in. Unplug the stator. There we go. Right. And just check it again. So there's nothing in there. Right. So that could possibly mean it's a stator. So what we want to do is we want to now check this. Now the only way of checking this, get you sat right. The only way of checking this is with a multimeter, because this goes to the windings and the engine, you know, the stator. Now this bike has a common problem for the flywheel breaking up, the magnets breaking off the stator. Flywheel, sorry, destroys the stator and all that. But this has had the modification done because I've done it myself on this particular bike. It's got the uprated modified flywheel and the uprated stator to go with it, so we won't have that problem. Now I have replaced this rectifier before, but it wasn't a genuine one, and Chinese parts on these bikes are a nightmare. It is hit and miss. Sometimes they're really good, other times they're fucking shit. But generally electrics are alright. It's the aluminium, like the rear sets and things like that, that you don't want to do. Right, so to test this, I'm just going to try and position my multimeter in a way that you can see it. There we go, kind of works. I'm going to test this first, then we'll test the other wires, only because it's here. Now, these are the coil windings. Basically it's an electromagnet, so it works on an AC current. These should be all around 17-18 volts, right, which equates to, you know, 70-80 odd volts all combined, yeah, something like that, right? And then the magic has worked in the rectifier and it gives you a DC output which charges a battery, now according to load. Now the way of testing these, there is one way of testing which we won't be able to do today, which is starting and running the bike, and now you test the voltage at each one. So, you know, it should be around sort of 17, 20-ish volts, 23 volts, something like that. Basically, should just have a voltage. If it's going crazy or nothing at all, then, you know, it's potentially a damaged coil winding. The other test we can do, checking for a short to earth and also a short between each other. Now, firstly, the short between each other, you set your multimeter to ohms, and you're simply probing between the three probes. So multimeter in the first one, check second. Right, now you want a good resistance, good low resistance, so around 0.7, 0.9, sorry, around 0.5 to 0.9 ohms. Right, but the thing is, the main thing is that they're all consistent. Right, so that's those two. So then we move into the middle, and we'll go this one again. Alright, that's fine. This one again. That's fine. Alright, move over to this one. Yeah, that's fine again. That's fine again, right? So, you know, that's the easiest way to check that these are more than likely good. The next one is short to ground, right? So you want to probe your terminal, and you just want to ground it, preferably not on the battery, on an actual grounding point would be ideal. Right, or the battery terminal itself if the battery is disconnected. Right, none there. No short there. Oh, no short. Yeah. So that checks out. So when it's next running, which I'll do earlier in the daytime, I'm just going to check for the voltages here. And like I say, between sort of 17, 23-ish kind of volts, but basically you want consistency in the voltage across the three. That's that. So then we're going to test this one. What you want is you just want to check this live. It's going to be hard to film this, but you're going to have to take my word for it. I'm probing the right one. There's only 2 pins here, a red and a black. So that's the live. Alright, you just want to check that for a short to ground, which there is none. Alright, and then just check the live also for continuity to the battery, positive, which is good. And then on the negative, on the earth, you just want to check that it is actually getting an earth, which we are. So that all checks out. So it's all pointing to the rectifier at the moment. So there we go. There's the issue. The rectifier is at fault. So there you go. The rectifier is at fault. It's quite simple to see. The battery is being drained very fast. With the rectifier disconnected, there is no sparkage at the terminals anymore. Excuse me. So that's what we're gonna put it down to. Now, I've always steered away from Chinese parts. The problem is with bikes, there's a lot of them, and you always try and buy the best quality possible, but sometimes you get stung with a bad part. It happens. It might have even been a good part that's just gone bad, we never know. But I'm going to put it down to being Chinesium, so I'm going to source a genuine one for this bike this time, and we're going to go from there. So that's going to be in this video. I'll get one ordered, and it'll be with us in a couple of seconds to you. One thing on this Chinesium, guys, these are some rear sets I'm putting on this bike. Now, customer have ordered these. They look pretty good. They've got 48 written on them. They're a lot. Right. Now, what had actually happened to his original ones is he'd snapped the peg here. Right, so he snapped this actual bracket. So I bought a whole new set. Right, so you can't find these ones in black. The whole bike is black and his rear sets are black. So, you know, we snapped pegs before and I just ended up getting a silver one and painting it. Which is this one, because we've changed this. We kept the original rear set and just put the Chinese peg on, which after discovering the quality of the aluminium, I'm not too keen on leaving it on there. This is the new part, and look at it. Now, as soon as I tightened this bolting the foot peg onto the rear set, it ripped the threads out with no effort whatsoever. So me thinking, oh well, that was rather shit. It's alright, I can fix that. I helicoiled it, put a helicoil in there, same size as this bolt, yada yada da. Actually used the proper YAMAHA bolt, which is exactly the same thread because I did measure it. Doing the bolt up, this is held in the vise, snap, just like that, no effort whatsoever. Do not buy Chinese rear sets, guys. You are standing on these at potentially hundreds of miles an hour, going through corners, really pushing on your pegs. You do not realise, well, you may even realise, but you do not, a lot of people don't realise how much pressure you put on your foot pegs turning from corner to corner. I mean, I know I do. So imagine that happening on the road, 150 mile an hour for a corner, switching directions, bang, you probably run over your own foot, snap. So yeah, try and avoid that, guys. So conclusion is rectifier. I should get one of them in right about now. Right, so here we are, a new day. We have a rectifier. I'm wearing gloves today because it's like -3 outside, pretty chilly in here, so don't mind if I do. If I wasn't filming, I'd also be working in a dressing gown. That's just me, and I'm at home. Right, so get this out of the packet. This is from M&P. Here's the part number. It's 80 quid, right, which I'm sure you said it's fairly expensive for one of these, but we don't want no Chinese. We don't want no China, and this will have a guarantee, you know, so it's from a proper company. You know, if we have any problems with this, then, you know, we can ring them up and get it changed for another one and what have you. So we should be golden on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this fitted to the bike and see if it works. Right, so firstly what we're going to do is just going to plug her in. I'm not going to unbolt. I'm not going to unbolt the old one just yet. Alright, all we've got to do is just plug her in. I plugged that in the wrong one. Yeah, no. Right. Plug that in there and that in there. Now if I turn the ignition on, the battery is not on at the moment, but if, no, I went in to turn the ignition on, sorry. If I just touch the negative to the battery, we shouldn't get a spark. Remember like we was getting a spark before? Right, so there you go, nothing, right? Now that battery is as good as fully charged. I think it's about 11.9 volts, so you know it's not great, but it's good enough. It definitely would spark if it was not fixed. So what we're going to do now, connect the battery up. On the battery connected. Right. We have lights. Everything seems to be okay. It cranks. It doesn't turn off. I'm going to call that fixed. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get a bit of charge in the battery. So I'm going to do that now. And then we're going to put it back together enough so that she'll run. Which means actually replacing that. What I'm going to do actually before I do swap that over is I'm just going to check the voltage again, just make sure we've got proper voltage. So we're going to do that now. Right, so before, when the battery was connected, we were getting a very fast drop in voltage, so it's literally ripping voltage out of the battery, like it's just pouring it out like water, and then eventually it would go down to 0 volts. Now if you disconnected the battery would slowly come back up, so if you left it 10 minutes you know, disconnected, and you check the voltage again, it would be back up to say 10 volts or so. Alright, definitely not the 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and as long as you'd leave it on, it would drain it. So let's see what we got now. We have 11.8 volts, and from holding it on there, as you can see, it's staying steady. It's definitely not dropping like it was before, so I'm going to call that fixed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get the battery on charge. We'll get the rest of this back together enough to be able to run it, and then we'll test the voltages while we're running, and we should be good to go. Cool. Right, shall we see if she starts? She's all back together, minus seat and the side panels and the rear set down there, but we'll get to that later. Main thing is, does she start? Does she charge right? Right, we've got all lights, lovely, as it should be. No warmth, no nothing. There she goes. Told you she's loud. Doing this with my garage door closed as well, so I'm pissed off too many neighbours. Right, let's see if she charges. Man, that's loud. That is very loud. So what we've got to do now is get the rest of the fairings, rest of the side panels back on. I have got a bit of fairing to replace, so I'm probably not going to do that now. Actually, I will just do that now. The side fairing later. I'll just put the seats and side panels back on now because that ain't going to matter. So let's get on with that. Carbon. This bike's covered in carbon. It's got a nice sort of suede seat as well. I wouldn't want to get it too wet. But then again, I don't think this bike sees wet weather very often, or at all for that matter. It's got some odd bolts for the seats, as they always do have. And a washer missing for the seat, as they always do have. And there we have it. There we have it, guys. All done. All together. Like I say, I've just got to do this foot peg, get a non-Chinese one. They're proving to be a little bit hard to find, funnily enough. There's either currently just none for sale at the moment, or they are actually hard to get hold of, which I'd like to believe the first option. I've got to replace this panel here. Sorry, I can't get it straight because the tripod's in the way. I've got to replace this panel here because the clip here is broken, just in there, so it's just flapping around in the wind. So we're going to be replacing that. I'm going to do that off camera though. I mainly wanted to do the video about the charging running issue, and if you're having similar issue like that yourself, you know, battery quickly being drained or anything like that. You know, if you put a brand new battery on the bike and after the first crank it's not even showing a light on the dashboard, then there's more than likely going to be this issue. Probably can be a whole host of other bikes as well, because at the end of the day the rectifier and stator system is a very simple system. So turn your face, mate. The rectifier and stator system is a very simple system that's used on plenty of other bikes, so most other bikes in fact. So you know, this symptom could be not just related to an R1, it could be anything. So well, I hope can't talk today. I hope some of you found that informative and helpful. It was fun to do anyway, so catch you guys next time. I'll see you soon.